This is Hog Farmer Chris and the 2022 Commanders Fan of the Year. Before you listen to Red Zone in the Lab podcast, I want to thank you for your support and bringing awareness to the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation, which helps children and their families affected by pediatric cancer. You truly make a difference. And with that being said, please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Love.
We're back! Welcome back to Red Zone in the Lab with Deuce.
Welcome back. This is Red Zone in the Lab podcast. I am Deuce, and joining me today to open up season 2, my man Trail.
What it do?
What's good, man? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Good day at work. Second day of free agency. My second job, couch GM. No, I'm feeling
Yeah, man. Second day of free agency, man. Well, legal tampering period, where it's legal to be illegal. But we here today, man. Got them on for a special prelude to the season 2 opening. Of course, we're on the eve of the Lamar Jackson having the ability to start talking with teams at 4 p.m. tomorrow, where it's actually the beginning of the official free agency period. And the reason why he's able to begin talking there and haven't already when everyone else was allowed to, because he is on a franchise tag, non-exclusive tag, which means that he's considered restricted, and only unrestricted players can get into conversations about their future. So, but before we get there, I'm going to give us a little background on Trail, man. So, Washington football fan, right? Braves, Redskins, football team, Commanders, whatever it may be. How long you been a fan, man?
man since 4 years old, man. So I unfortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you looking at it, I was able to witness the last Super Bowl, and I don't remember much of the game or the players, to be honest. I didn't know anything about it, but I was, the excitement and all the joy, the celebration that my family and their friends were doing when the Redskins won. I got it honest. I just inherited the fanship, if you will. In fact, I think I'm the only Redskins fan left in my family. Like nobody watches football like the level I do. So that last Super Bowl, man, it hooked me in, and so here I am. So you can only see a little bit my man cave, but I got Redskins crap everywhere in here, man. So, but yeah.
That seems to be a lot for a lot of younger fans, right? It's where a lot of their family probably grew up Redskin fans, and all of a sudden, we had 30 years of just being sorry, not even mediocre, but just sorry, and they kind of either jumped ship or just kind of faded in the background. But just real quick, what's your favorite moment? Like a play on the field, a free agent sign. How about Albert Hainsworth at 12:01 a.m.? Was that one of your most favorite moments?
No, I joke about that, but honestly, even back then, it wasn't like my fanship. Like I really wasn't into like the free agent signings and that type of thing, like in school. But because I was in school when that happened. But I think for me, that's a great question. Probably off the top of my head, man, the greatest moment for me when I felt like, man, we got Black Jesus. The Minnesota Vikings game when RG3 really just cemented himself like, I'm him. And that run up the sideline for that touchdown, bro, like I just remember jumping. Like I was in college, but I remember jumping up and down with my boys, like, and like we back, baby, we back. and I mean, because that, if I'm not mistaken, that was like what, the second game of the streak. But I just knew he was him. So RG3, man, in a nutshell, I guess him and his tenure, like that's probably my greatest like memory. And honestly, he is why I focus so hard like on the team at the level that I do now. Free agency, other teams and what they do in free agency, that type of thing, signings, off the field type things. Like I never really got into that kind of stuff. But RG3 really, kind of hammered it home for me.
Yeah, man. Speaking of RG3, right? RG3.
Mhm.
Speaking of the quarterbacks in our quarterback room, obviously you're a Sam Howell fan, so this is why
Yeah.
we are here. The title is "I Want Lamar and Howell." So let's talk about Sam Howell a little bit. Just give us some background on him and what he will bring to this franchise.
Oh, Sam's a stud, man. Sam's a guy. He more than just a guy. I mean, that guy. So I'm a Carolina fan. Like, just getting there. I'm a UNC fan, and for those who watch it, Carolina isn't always the best. Not really all anytime. And when it comes to football, like
Gotcha.
we're a basketball school, but when Sam was there, man, I mean, Sam, the what he brought to that organization, um, the excitement, like, oh man, it was different. It was just different. Man, it's kind of funny seeing Drake May like coming behind him, but I think it was Sam who ultimately attracted the like
Yeah,
someone like
yeah.
Dre to come to UNC. But man, like the first game, like out of the gate, Sam had it, and touchdowns, uh, the quiet, calm killer like you could just kind of sense it with him. Like he's just been a stud since he came, since he put that Carolina uniform on. So for me as a Commanders fan, like, oh, I was crazy excited when we drafted him. It was still odd to me that he dropped so low, which honestly I still have a question mark on it.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, like I think for our team, like Sam brings a gritty, uh gun. Like I'm not gonna call him a gunslinger because he will throw the ball, but he's smart, man. He's a smart kid, bro, and his decision making, his ability to extend the play if necessary. But for our team and the weapons that we have, what excites me most about him is the fact that, just going back to the decision making, he looks to get the ball to the best player. And in this case, we have a plethora. We have a plethora of best players for him. So just like if they're open, Sam's going to get them the ball. And that's what I'm excited about, man. Like the quick decision making, getting the ball out of his hand, placing it in positions where only your receivers can get to it. It's going to be a lot of things that we haven't seen from the quarterback position. Here, he's going to bring it.
So week 5, Carson Wentz gets hurt. He breaks his thumb or whatever in the Chicago game in the first half. We can go to Heineke or we can go to Howe. What was your position?
So the football realist in me, and just understanding, like, because by week 3, I saw that the line was bad, and I was like, man, this line is horrible, bro. Like, if they don't protect for him, it doesn't matter what Wentz is doing. But at that point, like, I was kind of like, Wentz is done. But this line is horrible. I didn't want to expose Sam early to that. So I didn't mind Taylor coming in. However, I did add a caveat. My guys, I was telling them, if Taylor can't, I didn't think he was going to play that long. I mean, of course, once we got the timeline for the injury, it changed things. But initially, I was like, man, I didn't need Taylor to get through these couple games, and we'll be fine. But I was fine with that. I didn't, because I thought that Sam would get worked up as third string, and Carson. I don't know. I wasn't ready to bring Sam in though just yet, because I didn't want to expose him. The line was bad, but once I started seeing, okay, the line is getting a little better. Taylor was doing what he needed to do. However, we weren't winning because of Taylor.
Right.
Taylor didn't always kill us in games. He didn't lose it for us, but he didn't win it for us either. Oh, and that was starting to make me feel like, man, listen, if this is all Taylor is giving, man, why put Sam in? You know what I mean? Even on with the wins, like I still like every game. Like my couch is right here in my man cave. I never sat down to enjoy a game, bro. I'm standing in front of my TV. I don't like that. I want to be able to sit down like week 18 and we really just enjoy the football game because we're out in the league. But sorry for the long-winded answer, man. I was ready for Sam around probably week 7, week 8. I was like, yo, at this point, put my boy in.
All right, week 18, right? Dallas Cowboys, they want to win, right? They're playing to win. Their star pass rusher, Michael Parsons, got injured in the game, came back in. So I don't really want to hear people tell me they wasn't trying to win, right? So Sam Howell gets to start, and we ain't gonna get into that whole week previous to him getting the start, but he has the start. What did you see from him that you didn't see from any of the other two quarterbacks all year?
Poise. I'm not going to say confidence because Taylor demonstrated a lot of confidence. I'm not even going to knock my guy, but definitely poise for one, and two, competency is a cop out word. But what I saw, like it's like this is what I saw. Sam was looking for his skill players to be like in certain positions. So the passes I'm seeing him, even the ones that weren't caught, Sam is putting in positions for Terry to make a play to extend this pass that I'm giving you, or Jahan. Like, to me, his decisive. That's the word. Sam came in very decisive and objective. Like, he knew exactly how this play should be orchestrated. Not necessarily feeling out, okay, hike and feeling out how do I react. He wasn't reactive. I guess that's decisive is the word, if I could say. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's what I saw from him.
Yeah, he was leading his receivers, right? He was giving them an opportunity to produce yak yards, and that's something that we really didn't see all year. And we saw that with those short sample size of Sam Howell being in the game. We saw him use his legs. We saw him use his vision on that touchdown run. That was vision. We seen his accuracy, right? We seen his arm power. We seen him drop it in the bread basket. To the point where Jahan dropped one on that play to Terry that he dropped, and that hit him right in his hand. Right, he's putting the ball in a place where the receivers is going to be, not where they are. So it was giving them opportunities, and sometimes you have to adjust to that. As receivers, especially Terry, he probably have passed like that since Case Keenum probably, right? So when you think about stuff like that and what Sam did, is a lot to be hopeful for coming into this next season. But let's get into the real reason why we're here, right?
Before you go on, I will say this. Like, to me, that is also a very promising thing about Sam, because also everything that I saw Sam do in that game, it was just reflective of what I've always seen him do. So there wasn't a drop off. And like, to me, that's exciting and promising. Like, all right, you're replicating what you did at the collegiate level already. You know what I mean? So, but go ahead. That's my fault.
No. You all good. It makes sense. And that's something that you want to see consistency. You want to see growth. I saw a lot of growth from me just seeing him in the preseason game. When I'm doing apples to apples, I'm talking about NFL and NFL.
You could argue you saw growth in game too, especially after that interception he had in the end zone. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. And hindsight, you don't want no turnovers, right? But in this situation, in this situation, he kept playing on a short field, so that's another thing. But he threw the pick and he came right back. You know what I mean? He didn't, like you say, the poise. He wasn't kind of thrown off. He wasn't jittery. They ain't make him do like 9 runs in a row, anything like that. It was just normal for him to come right back. And that's what you see, and that's what I expect to see him next year. So I want you all to go check out You Grow Girl. That's Grow, Grow, written by a dear friend of mine, Jay Smith. It's for daily affirmations for Black women. It is filled with beautiful, colorful images of Black women and powerful affirmations. You can find it at Amazon at Amazon.com. Again, the reason why we're here less than 24 hours when Lamar Jackson is able to begin talking with teams, and Trail has been on it. Like, he has pulled people on his side. He still has faith. He went from 7% Lamar's going to come to 75 and everything in between, depending on what's going on with the team. But first, before we get there, Lamar Jackson, the situation in Baltimore, we're going to get into all of that. But they tagged him. They gave him the non-exclusive, which means that they can match any offer that a team gives them. And if when the team does, if they don't want to match it, it'll automatically be 2 first-round picks. But there are other ways around it. We know about the Devontae Adams situation last year, so that's not totally concrete. But hearing that, and then once they put the tag on it, we just saw all these teams, well, not all these teams, but a few teams just out of the blue, which I don't really remember ever happening ever in the NFL, saying we're out on a player. What was your first take when you heard that? When you kind of start seeing those kind of trickle in?
Initially, the first couple, it didn't like, I'm like, okay, it is what it is. They're just ruling themselves out. But then when you start getting the 3, 4, 5s, and those are teams that are in dire need of a quarterback, initial reaction, just like 80% of the Twitter space, if you will, collusion. The owners are talking. Jim Irsay just took that selfie or that picture in front of the tables in Miami or whatever they were in Florida. But at any rate, like initially, like I said, it didn't bother me, but then first reaction probably was definitely collusion. I've definitely stepped away from that though. I think with the real, just putting on a sense of realism, I think all of the teams that said they weren't in play for Lamar are literally the teams that are in play for Lamar. And I think that the initial response was probably because the reporter who reported that may have reached out to, like, their source, if you will. Hey, what y'all gonna do? Oh yeah, we're not doing anything. And I think, to me, that was just probably the team's first response because of the situation. Like, you want to tip your hand, especially with this contract negotiation that's going on. So I think now, like, a lot of what we're seeing and hearing is smoke screen. Tomorrow was noon, right? Tomorrow at noon,
Is it noon or 4? 4.
It's 4.
It's 4 p.m. for free agency.
Okay, so
yeah, legal tampering was noon. Yeah,
gotcha. So at 4 p.m., it wouldn't shock me if Lamar's phone starts blowing up like crazy. You know what I mean? I would say his agent's phone, but it's not. It's gonna be his mom's house phone. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't shock me at all if the cordless phone is ringing off the hook.
Yeah. So all right. So now, Lamar Jackson, right? This is the second day of the legal tampering period. Of course, we've been talking about Lamar all weekend, all the way up to today, to right now. Why do you think it'd be a good idea for Ron and company to go after Lamar?
Oh man. So for me, just looking at the complexity, the makeup, if you will, of our team, the architecture, we really are just a quarterback away. I have one. You just heard me, like, drool all over Sam Howell. I have 100% confidence in Sam Howell. I think he will be successful. I know he will be successful. However, I know without a fact that Lamar Jackson is a successful NFL quarterback. There isn't any guesswork there. If anything, I just need to figure out how to scheme him to fit with the players on my team. But the reality is, that's a great problem to have. You have one of the most dynamic passers as well as runners in the NFL in him, and you're adding him into a roster where you have a perennial 1,000-yard receiver in Terry McLaurin, an up and coming perennial 1,000-yard receiver, and I'm willing to put my name on it. I think Jahan will eclipse Terry at some point, personally. But with Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, a super gadget player in Curtis Samuel, where you can literally line him up almost anywhere on the field. Then you go into a dynamic backfield with Brian Robinson, who is an absolute house, like we say down here. That boy a house, and Gibby. To me, oh my God, Gibby is probably the best wild card that we have on the team outside of Curtis Samuel. Like, I mean, the dude, I think he's not that he's underutilized, but I just feel like we haven't even seen his ceiling, like the best of AG. And then the last piece, Eric, two-time, be Super Bowl winning champion, Bieniemy. To me, he is the most polarizing piece of this equation when it comes to Lamar Jackson. I just witnessed, and we all did. We just witnessed for 5 years what he was able to do with not exactly the same style, but extremely similar style players, quarterbacks, and Patrick Mahomes. So taking that mold, if you will, and applying that to a team that's kind of built similar to the Chiefs. I'm not comparing us to the Chiefs, but we actually have more weapons. But the potential to be the Chiefs and Eric Bieniemy pairing and with Lamar Jackson, like to me, that is a perfect harmony of an offensive explosion. Um, it's oh man, like I'm drooling, and I know right now we got holes to fill on the offense, the offensive line, and everything, but there's no doubt in my mind that even with those holes, you add a player like Lamar Jackson, um, your team is just 10 times better.
And I don't think we really have a ton of holes, right? But let's
Me either.
let's kind of talk about that, right? So
Yeah.
acquiring Lamar Jackson at the minimum is going to take, of course, a contract, whatever he's
Mhm.
asking for, 2 first-round picks.
Mhm.
That's what the rule is for non-exclusive. Of course, that can be discussed with both teams, whatever the case may be.
Right.
What do you say to people that it's going to cost too much and it's going to stunt the growth of this team for the next like 3 to 5 years as far as building up the young guys?
Quite frankly, I think it is a very bad way to look at your team. To me, you are solidifying a the hardest position on the field. You're solidifying competent quarterback play for the next 5 to 6 to 7, maybe 8 years. Forget the contract. To me, this player solves a issue
Breaking news: Eagles signed back Bradbury, 3 year, 44.
that's probably the best news that they have had in free agency so far.
All right, go
um,
ahead.
that don't scare me though, because we got the best of him too. But anyway, at any rate, man. Um, man, what was it?
Bad way of building your team.
Oh yeah, it's a bad way of building your team.
Yeah.
Especially if well, let me take 2 steps back. I don't want to say it's a bad way. I just feel that though Lamar Jackson feels an evident, a hole that we have been having for years, like competent quarterback play. Matter of fact, it's so evident even within the 3 seasons that Ron has been here. Keep me honest, but last I checked, Sam Howell will be his 9th starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So like that alone, I mean, that's asinine. It's just asinine to think that hey, we have a 26-year-old just stuck his 1 foot into his prime, not even fully in his prime, MVP level quarterback that's available for free agency. You just need to trade away two first round picks at minimum and work out some players that honestly we probably not even guaranteed on to begin with. To me, I think it's crazy to say I don't want to have great level quarterback play for the next foreseeable future, but I'd rather go in just guessing with this guy. And I love this guy, but you know what I mean? It's just I live in reality as well. You know what I'm saying? You have to balance that part of it.
What about the injuries? Are you concerned with the injuries?
Not at all. To me,
Yeah,
none of
I think
the
he had those. I'm not coming back until y'all
yeah,
pay me type injuries. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
you can really say for the last 2 years, they say they've been working on the deal with him for 2 years, and obviously he feels kind of slighted. So you can actually argue that maybe those injuries wasn't as serious as they were.
exactly. So the year before, I think he took I mean, of course he had the concussion. So He missed a game for concussion. Then he had the COVID game, and then
Actually, he had 3 of those. He had COVID 3 times,
3
and he
COVID.
got better. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
He
to
the only
me,
person. Everybody else didn't look too good
yeah.
after COVID.
So
I
with
got
that,
you.
I really think like those situations, like you said, man, the NBA, those guys get rest days. He took his own rest days. And the crazy part is like every time he's off the team hurts. I don't care about what Tyler Huntley almost did. Almost don't count. You know what I mean? Like the
Pro Bowl,
reality is
Pro Bowl Tyler Hunt.
right. But it's like I said, I mean, Lamar is a huge dream for me, but the reality of the situation, I mean, it would work. It would work. And that's where I am with it, man.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see, man. But if it does happen, let's talk about if it does happen. What are your expectations for this team? Is the Super Bowl a bust? And kind of looking towards the future, because with Lamar on this team, we have to get to the NFC Championship game and compete. And I'm really leaning to Super Bowl. If it really happened, I really kind of think about it.
Mhm.
But with him on this team, that adds 4 or 5 wins. I mean, to me,
With
just him by
Lamar,
itself.
with Lamar on this team, like honestly, my expectation for this year, with everything new coach, new all that, my expectation for this year would be NFC Championship. A Super Bowl would be just the icing on the cake, but NFC Championship or bust for this year. After that, oh yeah, hey man, every year I need to feel like Tom Brady. Super Bowl
Yeah,
or it's just wrong, because if you're looking at the even right now with all the, I mean, of course you still have to draft, but the draft, in my opinion, doesn't have the biggest impact as free agency, as far as what your team may be, because you can't guarantee these guys coming out of college. You can barely guarantee the guys you sign in free agency, but you know what I mean? Like, but coming out of college, I mean, it's just too many what ifs. So for me, just looking at the free agent signings that we've seen thus far in the NFC, there hasn't been a single one that makes me feel threatened. Um, Even with Sam Howell as our starter, there's a single one that makes me feel threatened as a team as far as making a run. Sam Howell automatically puts us at 11-4. I mean 11-6 to me, because I think he definitely gets us 3 wins more than what we
yeah,
did last year by minimum. So that right there, okay, boom, 11-6 playoffs at minimum, wild card. But and then once in there,
anything can
like
happen.
anything can happen. Anything can happen, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate this, Trey. Of course, man. We're gonna have you on again for a more
Man, I
formal interview,
appreciate you,
like
dude.
going
For
to
real
the
talk.
season
I've been wanting to get up here with you, bro. So I appreciate it,
here.
man. You know what I'm saying? So, anytime you want, anything I can help you with, man, let me know. I thoroughly enjoy the podcast, man. I enjoy, the sit rep on Twitter. Anything you need, bro, I'm your man. Left hand up. Let me know.
Most definitely, man. Give everybody your handle on Twitter or Insta, wherever you at.
Sure. So on Instagram and on Twitter, you can follow me at It's Trail. That's OHITSITSTRELL. Excuse me. That's Trail, not It's Trail. That's what it used to be. So That's Trail, OHTHATS Trail, TRELL. On Instagram, I got a couple Instagram. I got my personal, but I'm a hat and shoe collector.
I see
So
that. Jive flexing
yeah,
in the back. I see
nah, I collect
that.
Funko Pops too, man. So, but you can follow me on Instagram as well. Check me out at Bear Brims. That's BARE Brims, BRIMS. I don't like stickers on my hat, so that's the name Bear Brims. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm a hat collector, man. So but definitely when it comes to Redskins, I'm all is Twitter. I might make me
gotcha.
a Redskins Instagram, man, but as of right now, all Twitter. That's Trail. Give me a
Yeah, man.
follow.
We
And
was
again, I
talking,
appreciate
man.
you.
Yeah, no doubt. We was talking one time. I was like, yeah, I'm a hat collector, man. I got like 60, 70 hats. My man Trail say. What'd you say? What'd you say?
Oh yeah, I got about 200 something.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, man.
I was doing something, man. I said, yeah, I gotta
Nah,
step my
but
game up, man.
nah, man. Listen, it is not where you start, man. It's about the passion and the love. So
Oh yeah, most
yeah,
definitely.
man. And to be honest, man, like I've been for years. Like it don't just happen overnight. Like this years in the working. So
Yeah, man, most
yeah.
definitely. All right, man. Appreciate you for
No, I
stopping by,
appreciate
man. I
you.
appreciate all y'all out there for watching. I appreciate y'all for listening. This is Deuce. This is Red Zone and Lab Podcast. Have my man Trail on. We appreciate y'all, man. One beat, one sound, one heart, one little.